I wanted to talk a little bit about making connections with businesses that are in your demographic, but not necessarily your competition. But what did you have on the plate, Mr. Silva?
That sounds perfect to me.
Yeah. So we were, and then I told you guys I was prepping for an event, and we talked about like ways that we were gonna, sign people up and how you maximize events. Our event was really good. For us, it was not as many signups. It was not as many successful signups as I normally would have done, and it's because I use volunteers instead of my own people. And that's really hard to get them to do. We had probably 30 people sign up for a free class. It could have been 100 had we been doing it right. One of the things that I noticed was I was lining my kids up to go through our little bars. I was lining them up too far away from the tables. And I was focused on keeping we didn't do any martial arts. It was just parkour. So they're swinging on little bars. So I was focused on nobody's breaking their neck during this free thing, And so, when I would be happen to be close enough to a parent whose kid was on there, I'd be like, hey, now, I always started with, how old is your kid? Which is a really disarming question, right? Oh, they're 7. Oh, very cool. We have a class specifically for that age group. Oh, you do? Yeah, and we're doing, you can sign up for a free class right over there. Oh, you are? And they look, and it was almost like our table and our bar structure was completely like they weren't the same thing. They're, oh, that's you guys. Okay. So what I finally, once I had a lull in kids, we dragged the bar structure over closer to the table and then changed where the line was. And all of a sudden we had a lot of parents who were like, oh, this is you guys? Okay. So even just the physical format of where you are and how you're running things can really make a difference.
Where was this event?
It was at a place called Guthrie Green. It's like a green area right in the middle of downtown, big green field. And it's like an amphitheater, but also people rent it out for lots of events. This particular event, see, this is interesting. I was never in the position before to be able to either have the money to sponsor stuff like this, because it's a lot of money to sponsor that kind of stuff. And then it's like branding, and that doesn't immediately get you students, but also in a position to be asked to sponsor. So this was a thing called Honey Fest, which was done by my kids' private school. It's a private Montessori school. Undercroft is what the name of their school is. And it was their first annual Honey Fest. So what they do, and this is pretty cool, their middle schoolers raise bees and make honey and then sell it like it's a business. They have to learn how to market they produce the product, they price it. They have to look at market prices of how much the honey is. It's actually a pretty cool thing. And of course they hawk it to all the parents. They're like, hey, have you gotten your honey yet? So what they did, and then it's very hip right now to pay attention to the bees, which of course, we should be. But so it was a Honey Fest that kind of celebrated local beekeepers and local honey. So everybody who was a local honey producer got a free booth. It was free. And then all the other businesses had to pay if they wanted to be there. So they asked us, hey, will you sponsor the Kids Zone? So this was we would not have been asked, but this was the culmination of my kids go there. Oh, hey, they do some cool stuff. And then we did, I don't know if anybody remembers this, we did a PE class as a parkour class for all of their upper elementary and middle school kids, which was 50 kids. Because all of a sudden they got the call. They used to go on Wednesdays to a pool. All of a sudden they got the call, hey, you're not going to have the pool this semester. It's going to undergo emergency reconstruction. Oh my God, where are we going to go? Hey, that William guy's got a place. Can we go there? It was kind of a hardship on us, but we made it happen. And so then they're like, hey, do you want to sponsor this event? So we said yes. I didn't want to pay $2,000 to sponsor a Kids Zone, but yes, because if I don't, somebody else will. Mm-hmm. And that, so it was a good relationship for us. Well, during the event, somebody goes, hey, this guy Ray wants to meet you. I'm like, okay, I don't know who Ray is. That's fine, whatever. You bring this guy over, and apparently he's the executive director, CEO of the Children's Museum that's here in town, which is pretty cool. That, for me, that was an example of everybody's always wanting to work together. And what they really mean is piggyback off our coattails for all the hard work we've done and try to get our members because they're in the same demographic. And everybody always thinks I'm a jerk because I say no. I'm like, no, I don't want to have the local sports complex owner come in and do a seminar? Absolutely not, But yes, I would love to have the daycare bring their kids in for a free karate class. Absolutely. So like that's a relationship I can work with. The other is not. So this, for me, this was an example of a relationship that I could work with this guy because they're not a membership-based business. It's right along our demographic without being direct competition. So I think it would be advantageous for us to all look at what's in our demographic, but not our competition, and how can we work with them. I don't have any idea how we're going to work together, but I just now got an email from his secretary that said, "Hey, when can we come, meet you?" So
one time we had a fitness center called the Q Center that was really close to my martial arts school in Florida. I had almost all kids. They had all adults. So we worked on each membership base where that if they were memberships of the Q, their kids could get a discount at my martial arts school. Parents from martial arts school could get a discount at the Q Fitness Center. So that was
that's a good.
Back then we called it a host-parasite type relationship, and we just hammered each other's emails. So.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's a perfect example. But I think sometimes it's hard to see the value in that. If it like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you can't eat, what is a great partnership with a local business? How does that help me? Like I can't pay my freaking rent. I don't have any new students. That's kind of a little higher. Like you have to have some of your base marketing down. You have to know how to do an intro. Yes. Like what good does it do you if you have a good relationship and then some people hear about it and then they come in, but you can't sign them up,
right.
Or your phone processes are bad. So there's a lot of basics that really have to happen before you go after those kind of relationships. And if you don't have your stuff together, they can see that. Nobody wants to work with a place that's kind of rinky dink and doesn't, not that like small doesn't matter. I don't mean small. I mean, they come in and the windows aren't clean and, the phone's not answered at times when it should be answered, things like that. I think those things are important too.
Yeah, it was just like the Q Center. That was a brand new business. In fact, I think you must have known Jimmy Mack, the guy who does the rack cards. Well, Jimmy Mack this was back in the 90s. He was in charge of marketing the Q Center.
Oh, really?
And his lead boxes were everywhere in town. I go, how's this guy getting all these? So that's how I met Jimmy Mack. But this Q Center was a really, really nice facility. I knew if I was going to get some of their people, my school always had a pretty nice look. And when I did it, I did both the letters to my students and the letter to their students. And when I met them, I actually had almost everything prepared. So they just had to say yes. And I'd go, okay, this is the letter I'm going to use. This is the letter you're going to use.
Yeah. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And plus, if you do it for them, it's like, then it's just an easy decision. It's not like 3 or 4 months to get this going.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. For us we've done booths forever, right? We know how to run a booth. We have we don't ever use other people's tables because we know that our tables are 6 foot. They fold up. They can be brought easily. And our tablecloths are those nice tablecloths that are an actual rectangle with the drapes. They look like they fit the table. Yep. And in fact, we had somebody go, "Oh, those are nice tablecloths." Oh, you mean it's not just like we're the only ones that had tablecloths? Why? Like it makes it look so much nicer. People are drawn to that. All of our stuff was professionally printed. I don't think I have any of it right here, but all of our stuff is professionally printed. Our schedules look good. Our flyers look good. They're not picking up a piece of paper that was printed on an Epson home printer. That kind of stuff matters. And you have to like practice to get there. Like I'm sure all you guys can at will throw a hook kick at somebody's temple, but you didn't get that way right away. Like everything is working towards a black belt. Like you have to, are you a black belt at setting up those booths? I personally am a white belt at making these connections. I'm not that personable of a person really. Like it's hard. And know thyself. It's hard for me to make those connections. So I'm trying to make connections with people like that. But I know that I'm a white belt at it. However, I wouldn't have even had the opportunity had we not been black belts at booths. All of our volunteers were in our slick black shirts with the Motion Tulsa logo on them. Why? Because I handed it to them at the place. Here's your free shirt. Thanks for showing up. You know, you don't have to wear it if you don't want to. And then they looked around and everybody else is wearing it, and they're like, you know. So, yeah, I think that prior planning was really important in order to make that that connection. Who knows? It might go nowhere, but I don't know. Maybe.
So this is a science museum, you said?
Yeah, it's a children's museum. So like, has anybody been to a children's museum?
Well, I have grandkids.
Yeah, big cities typically have them. Like, does anybody have a really nice one in their town?
Yeah, we have one in San Diego.
Yeah. Like I figure the San Diego Children's Museum probably ours is in this old downtown building. It's kind of dilapidated, but apparently they're building a brand new one here with this new gathering place that they put in. So, and we can't even use the gathering place gathering place is this huge park that they built in Tulsa, $100 million park, and it's like getting national attention. Can't even use it because they use a lot of wood. And we did a test run in our spring break camp. Every kid came back with splinters. We can't go there now. So hopefully they change that. But yeah. So anyway, I'm going to be talking tomorrow about point of sale, using point of sale in Rainmaker. Is everybody comfortable and happy with point of sale's frozen? Is everybody happy and comfortable with their use of point of sale? Does everybody use their point of sale?
Just started, so we're kind of getting in the swing of it. So just starting from the beginning with it.
Yeah, I really like Rainmaker's point of sale. It's very straightforward. I originally didn't like some aspects of it that Scott, in my opinion, had the foresight to force certain things. And I'm like, no, I want to do it faster. You know, like, I know that sounds like me. No, I want to ignore the details and go and bust right ahead and going fast. But I've come to appreciate some specific things, like, for example, knowing exactly who checked the person out, knowing exactly what the item was supposed to be, selecting specific credit cards. So, like, what we do, for example, is we put people, our summer campers, on a program called Inactive But Still Paying. I don't know if you guys knew that was a program option, Inactive But Still Paying, which means the credit card information is on file anytime they want to use it for a weekly deposit or for a weekly balance. So, like, obviously, our regular Karate Kids come in and they're billed monthly. If they need to buy a new bow, well, we can use their credit card on file. Like, hopefully you guys know that you can do that. That's a super easy way to do it. But for summer campers, how do you do that without it messing up? Like we have 167, she just told me, summer campers officially signed up for summer camp at different weeks throughout the summer. Well, I don't want my active member count to say 167 extra people. So we do inactive but still paying. Then if they want to use that credit card, then we're able to charge that credit card. So I'm going to show you guys some ways to do things like that, knowing which credit card is which. So we also do that, for example, we do that with kids who are, let's say they're a regular karate kid or a regular parkour kid, but they're doing just a couple of weeks of summer. But it's dad wants, mom and dad are divorced, dad wants to pay for the summer camp weeks. How do we do that? We create an extra program, or what's called a secondary program, for summer camp with dad's card. And then that way when dad comes in and drops him off, it's easy for mom can drop the kid off and say charge dad's card, and we have it there in a drop down without having to call dad, which is really important because, if you're only working with your own population, you trust them. If I've got 200 karate kids, I know almost all their parents. I trust them. It's not a big deal. When I'm working with random people who come in for 1 week of summer camp, we have this a lot. Is mom will go, can I, I forgot to bring my wallet or something. Can I pay when I pick up? And it's like, no, no. We learned, we did that for a while, and they would just disappear come Tuesday. And it's like, where did this kid go? So we have to have ways of very quickly taking away the barriers of payment. And sometimes people don't do it on purpose. They just, it's supposed to be my husband's card. And we know she's telling the truth, right? Or it's supposed to be my ex's card. Can you call them? Well, yes, we'll call him. But what if he doesn't answer? What if he's like, I didn't say I was paying for that? Like, we have to make it really easy and set it up so that at the point of sale, at the moment, on Monday, we can get that done. So we have a line going out the door, 2 people checking people out. But in that rush of getting kids usually between about 8 and 8:30, we got to go fast. Mm-hmm. So I'll show you some of those tips and tricks that we use tomorrow. Let me get my link really quickly and drop it in here. think I'm gonna have to look it up. Does anybody have any initial questions about point of sale or any issues that we could address tomorrow? Any challenges that they have seen?
No, I don't have any challenges except I don't really use Rainmaker as a billing system, but I do have this challenge where I had a parent who had an expired credit card, and we didn't catch it, and now they owe us $1,100. And of course, what do? They hide. They now you can't find them. Now you text them, you email them, and for some reason they're no longer returning my call when they were there last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't know what you guys do for that.
Well, did it show up in your credit card expiring report? But if you're not using, what are you using billing?
I'm using a company called Converge. So we're fixing it, but I was just wondering what you guys do to prevent things like that.
I am a real miser and a stickler when it comes to past due payments, because I know that happens. And it doesn't even have to be an expired credit card that people forget about and rack up an $1,100 bill. When you're doing, say, for example, after school, and I've got $379 a month after school program, and a lot of our parents bill it $189.50 on the first, $189.50 on the 15th. Well, first of all, any regular daycare, if they didn't pay, wouldn't be picked up, period. So we're already super lax that if their credit card declines on a Monday, we're still going to pick the kid up, and then we're going to call them, and they'll say, okay, yeah, I'll get it fixed. We're still going to pick them up on Tuesday and on Wednesday and on Thursday. Like, it's okay with me, but we start trying to rebuild that credit card and paying attention to it, and it shows up in your dashboard. Let me share my screen. It shows up in your dashboard right here. So the first thing that I do every morning, all right, am I sharing? There we go. The first thing that I do every morning is log into my bank, move money around and stuff. But the second thing that I do is open my dashboard and scroll down this area right here. I don't really pay attention to the trials. I do want to see the new members. Every once in a while, I'll do an intro, or somebody will sign up after I've left. I leave a little earlier nowadays than I used to, because I got a little one, a little 1-year-old. So somebody may have signed up after I left, so I pay attention that morning whether someone had signed up. And then I go right down here. So like, I want to see this right here. Now these are all of these people have been moved to inactive but still paying, because if they didn't pay since 4/15, as far as I'm concerned, they're not an active member. But like, I'm paying attention to these. If it declines even once, I'll do this. I'll click process now. AutoClick's already processed the data. Can't do that. Sorry. Because it's, what is it? It's the 15th. But if it's the 16th, you can click process now, and you can manually process specific past due. So you don't have to wait. Rainmaker will automatically attempt to auto-collect it 5 days later. So like, if somebody misses their payment on the 1st, it'll try to take it out on the 5th. But you can try it on the 2nd and on the 3rd and on the 4th. That's one reason we don't use any EFT. It costs us a lot more money to use credit cards, but we see the decline instantly, right away. There's not a 7-day waiting period, and it doesn't charge them any fees. Sometimes we used to get people that would complain like, hey, it charged me a $30 fee because I didn't have any money in that account, and I didn't know you were going to try it again, And it's like, well, that's not necessarily our fault, but I can see how they're pissed about that. So we use only credit card, debit card right there. It should send you a credit card expiring report on a regular basis in your email. But you can look it up manually, I think.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. So
yeah. He's like, yeah. There we go.
And I guess there's a new whiz bang thing that this payroll company or this Converge company, Elavon, does now, where if your credit card does expire, instead of me saying, hey, William, your credit card expired last month, can you give me a new credit card? It actually automatically does it through the bank. So I don't have to deal with it. You don't have to tell me to deal with it. it's just automatic now. But I have to pay an extra $20, which is worth it to me.
Yeah.
Every
Well,
month.
one of the things that we do that makes it, makes it free, but it's probably not as maybe as much as you like, specifically how you want it. One of the things we do is we have a flow set up. So we used to have a flow for your credit card is about to expire. What I did is I took that away and I just now I make a flow for a decline. So like if it declines, it'll say, and actually that's not even a flow. That's just a really easy thing in your settings. Let me share my screen again so you guys can see it, just in case, because I think a lot of people didn't know this was here and don't have it set up. In your settings, in your financial settings, or well, dang it, where is it? Oh, does anybody know what I'm talking about? There's a setting for, there's a little area, I'm gonna have to find it so I can talk about it tomorrow, that specifically says what to do when it declines. And what we do is we, notification settings now. I'm gonna have to look at it later. But what we do is we've changed the language and the wording to say, hey, your payment didn't go through. And what I do is I give them a really easy out. I say, usually this is because your credit card has expired. Give us a call and we can update it. And that way they can say, oh, no, I just need to use a different credit card or whatever. I don't want to put people on the spot like, hey, you didn't have enough money. I don't really care if they didn't have enough money or if it was credit card expired. Like, we all go through that. It's not a big deal to me. I try to give them the easiest out possible. And I do that with the language. And I do get a lot of return emails from that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you charge it now? I just put money in that account, right? Whether they're actually did or whether I just put money in that account, doesn't matter. I don't care. Now we got it and they're up to date. But we do find that the earlier we get after that, the easier it is for someone to continue to come, So we'll talk about a lot of that point of sale type tips and tricks next Thursday or tomorrow, Thursday. The link is in the chat if you want to register for it. It's free to register for it. It's just it makes you create a username for the profile or for the platform. That way you show up as a Johnny or Sally or whatever in the chat. Oh, you're muted.
Hey, is there anything that to get started with point of sale? Like, what are the basics that we would need to have?
You're in it right now. As long as you've got Rainmaker, you're doing it. Like,
okay.
So yesterday or last Thursday, let me get the link from last Thursday's workshop, and then it might be helpful for you to see how to set up products, because we set up products and packages and things like that last time. So let me get the link. Last Thursday's workshop. Or workshops, I try to keep them to 30 minutes only. That way you're trying to pack all that information in. You should be able to register for that, and it should automatically send you a replay link. So if you'll watch that today and maybe like set up a couple of example products, like how much you charge for your gi, how much you charge for a t-shirt, whatever, then you'll be able to see when we're doing drop downs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Different topic, but do you have sales training for staff, webinars? I look for the recent ones. Not really, Dory. I think probably your best bet for sales training would be talk to Greg. You mean for to help your staff figure out how the heck to talk to somebody? Yeah, yeah, I know. We should run, Greg. We should have like an online summit and make people's staff show up. Oh man. And then we should face to face force them to go, hi, this is William. Welcome to Motion Tulsa. How can I help you? You know what I mean? And like, oh, that's an interesting question, and not say, what are you talking about? Like we should make everybody role play. I think they would feel more comfortable role playing with Greg than they would with Dory. Right?
Maybe. I don't know. I do role playing with Charles Jernigan's staff.
Yeah.
I got this one woman. I'm always so careful because I'm afraid she gets so flustered and goes, she's gonna just get up and quit. So.
Hey, I'm not coming to 1-star review. I'm not coming to another sales training with Rainmaker because they made my staff quit.
Yeah, so what I did yesterday, I had her just do it with someone else and record it, and then send me the recording, and then I gave her feedback.
Man, yeah, and it's so you have to be so honest with yourself. I record myself on the phone, especially when we very first started doing parkour. I had a feeling that it would be essentially the exact same as martial arts, but I wanted to make sure, and so I literally have, these are all recordings. I don't know if you can even see it. There's just like 20 recordings of me on the phone making sure that I don't sound like a crazy person, because just because I know how to do martial arts ones doesn't mean I know how to do parkour ones. So yeah, maybe we'll try to figure that out, Dory. If we did that, is that what you're talking about? Phone, or are you talking about face to face, or what? Can you unmute her?
Ideas, but sales training.
Say that one more time. You were muted.
There was a webinar a few weeks ago Greg had, and it was about sales ideas to help promote business.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering if you had anything for actual sales training, like how to take that brand new staff member and say, okay, this is how you walk through and give somebody a tour. I mean, I've got it written down, but it seems to be there's got to be a better process out there, a thorough process, and for martial arts gyms, like for the clothes and everything, instead of this fitness everything. But there's not a lot for the martial arts.
Well, I think the theories are all the same. It's
Right.
just everybody's stuff is different. What would you say to that, Greg?
Well, I've done so many recordings over the last 3 years, and I have them all in a file in the vault.
Okay.
Dory, I don't know if you have access to our vault. It's got all the past webinars.
I don't.
Okay, email Valerie at getstudents.com.
Valerie at what?
Getstudents.com. Tell her you're a Rainmaker client and you'd like to have access to the vault.
Okay.
Each one of those recordings is labeled, so I know we've done like the closing, we've done phone call procedure and things like that. And if you can't find anything, just email me and I'll see if I can get a shortcut to it.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
A lot of that stuff has been done.
Cool. All right. Well, you guys come to my workshop tomorrow. We'll talk about point of sale. If you can't come live, sign up for it anyway, because it'll send you a recording, and then you can watch the recording. Cool.
Very good.
Thank you.
See you later, guys.
1 second before you guys jump off.
What's up?
Mr. Prince, would you have a second, like when we're done here, for me to call you? I want to ask you a couple things about that birthday. He's muted.
414
hey, tell me again, please.
803 414 9600.
Thank you. Perfect.
No worries.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye, all.